Ever think about moving to Tinton Falls, New Jersey? Well, good news for you. On today's video, we're covering the top 8 things you need to know before moving there. If this is your first time to the channel, my name is Steve McCutcheon, and I'm a realtor at Berkshire Hathaway. On the Live in Central New Jersey channel, we cover everything related to the Central Jersey real estate market. So if you're the first one to know what's going on in either Monmouth or Ocean County real estate, feel free to click the bell, hit the subscribe button. Let's get this video started. Point number 1 is going to be the location of Tinton Falls. So as you can see from the photo popping up, Tinton Falls is kind of in that maybe central, but a little bit more eastern part of Monmouth County, but it's not quite the Jersey Shore just yet. There's a few towns in between there. It borders, because of its shape, it borders quite a few different towns like Wall, Colts Neck, Shrewsbury, just to name a few, but there's 8 in total. It's roughly 15.5 square miles, ranking 12th out of 53 municipalities in Monmouth County. There are a few major roadways that go through Tinton Falls. Most notably though, you're going to have Route 18 and the Garden State Parkway. Both of these roads will bring you north to south, but the Garden State Parkway is going to be a toll road, whereas Route 18 will be a non-toll road. Ironically enough, Route 18, like this little section that goes through Tinton Falls, kind of goes more east to west more than anything, but the road brings you north to south throughout Jersey. You're roughly, the closest beach to you is probably going to be Long Branch, but you're roughly about 30 minutes from Long Branch all the way down to Manasquan in Monmouth County, pretty much any other shore town in the area. Point number 2 is going to be the commute to work, most notably New York City. So a lot of people work in New York City, but also commute back to Tinton Falls because it's a nice area, bigger yard, bigger house. The main thing or the main ways to get there are going to be driving yourself, taking the bus, or taking the train. Driving yourself is going to be the most direct route by far. The Garden State Parkway runs throughout the entire length of Tinton Falls, so there's a couple different exits you can hop on at. If you want to take a drive yourself, you're looking at about an hour and a half. I know the photo that just popped up said about an hour and 6 minutes. That's not accounting for necessarily a ton of traffic, which part of New York you're going to. Is it Manhattan, Brooklyn, Bronx? And then also which part of Tinton Falls you live in the northern part, southern part, all that kind of stuff. So I would say at least an hour and a half. There's a ton of traffic that day, or maybe bad weather, hour 45 at the very most. Then if you want to take the bus, you don't have any transit bus that is goes there really direct. You'd have to take that over to Freehold, then all the way back up to Route 9. That's going to be over 2 hours long easily. You want to take the Academy bus that's going to be located over in Wall. They have a park and go, and they're going to take the same route as pretty much that you're driving, just going right up to Garden State Parkway. So that's you're about looking at least hour and a half, maybe hour 45 as well, because I don't think there's too many other stops other than pretty much that Wall one. And then last but not least is going to be the train. That's going to be about an hour and 20 if you hop on at the Red Bank station. That's going to be the most northern one and closest one in terms of looking at Tinton Falls. There's not a station in Tinton Falls themselves. You can get to some other ones. I would highly recommend going on to Red Bank though, just because one, like I said, is the most northern, but also once you go a few more stops back towards Long Branch, if you hop on before Long Branch, you'll then have to hop off in Long Branch and switch trains to get into New York City. So they don't have Long Branch is basically the last station in that row of lines on that rail that have a direct route to New York City. If you go on before there or after that, you'll have to switch trains. Point number 3 is going to be the different demographics throughout Tinton Falls. So Tinton Falls has roughly 19,500 residents, and that's a 10% increase over the last decade or so. So a pretty good increase, or at least a largeable size. Then you have, of all the households, 22% of them have a child under the age of 18, and 44% are married couples living together. After that, though, there are a decent amount of retirees in the area, so it's not just young families. You have 27% of people living over the age of 65 and single. Then you have $108,000 for your median household income, and the median sales price over the last year's 2023 was $460,000. Point number 4 is going to be school system education in Tinton Falls. So the Tinton Falls School District is made up of 2 elementary and 1 middle school. According to niche.com, it's rated a B+, houses a little over 1,300 students, and has an 11-to-1 student-teacher ratio. When you move on to high school, though, you're going to be going to Monmouth Regional High School, and they pull kids from Tinton Falls, Shrewsbury, and Eatontown, which are all kind of the nearby ones. They're also B+, according to niche.com, house roughly 900 students and have a 10-to-1 student-teacher ratio. Last but not least, though, if you want a private option, you have the Randy School, which is actually the #1 rated private school in Monmouth County. It's located in Tinton Falls. This is going to run you a pretty penny, though. It's $32,000 a year for tuition. They do give out, from what I understand, a decent amount of financial aid, so highly recommend looking into that and making it a little bit more affordable. Coming in at point number 5 is going to be the different housing options in Tinton Falls. So I personally like to break it down into a couple different categories. You have condos and townhomes, adult communities, and also single family homes. So for condos and townhomes, they actually made up the bulk amount of sales for Tinton Falls last year. They had 104 sales out of a possible 203 total for all the different categories I just mentioned. You have a little bit of everything when it comes to this. There's so many different developments in Tinton Falls for these condos and townhomes, but just to kind of give you a rough estimate of all of them, you can get anything from a 2-bed, 1-bath one level just condo in general, that went for $275, was like the lowest sale last year, and that goes all the way up to $725,000 for a 3-bed, 3.5-bath townhouse. So like I said, a little bit of everything in that one. When it comes to the adult communities, this is a little bit different in price points. It's actually mostly higher than the condos, ironically. But the adult communities, there's two main developments that I'm aware of. One's going to be the northern part and one the southern part. The lowest sale was $700,000 and the highest one was $1.1 million. So I have a little bit of everything in between there. There's a lot different than typical downsizing that you see from people like after they're done retiring. They want to live a little bit more cheaper of a lifestyle. So these are definitely a little bit more higher end adult communities and a little bit bigger units too. They have anything from a 2 to 3 bed townhome and 3 to 3.5 bath. So a little bit larger. If your house is not in the best shape, probably wouldn't recommend living here. But if everything's going pretty good, got a decent amount of money on you, or you had a previous sale of a home, you just put the money into this, definitely possible to live there. Last, we're looking at these single family homes in Tinton Falls. This is the other half of the bulk of the sales, just like the condos and townhomes were. This came in second place though. They had 93 sales out of a possible 203 back in 2023. The lowest sales price was $310,000, but that place also needed a ton of work done to it. So if you're looking for something that's a little bit move-in ready or more move-in ready, it doesn't need too much work at it, you can probably find one of those like smaller ranch 2 or 3 bedrooms for about that $450 price range, somewhere in there. And let's say you want to upgrade because your family's getting a little bigger and you want to get like a 4-bed colonial, a little bit more space, bigger yard, all that kind of stuff. You're probably looking at about $600 to $650, somewhere in that range, kind of as a just entry price for that kind of style of a home. Now, you can go more expensive than that. The highest sales price in Tinton Falls was $1.75 million in 2023. So again, plenty of options, anywhere between $450 all the way up to that price I just mentioned. So can't really go wrong there. One last thing I want to make you aware about before purchasing over in Tinton Falls, they do have a water treatment plant located like near the Parkway and Route 66. It's actually very close to the Jersey Shore outlets, which we'll get to in a second actually when we do the shopping and dining portion. But I know when I've been to the outlets before, if the wind's blowing a certain direction, you can get a little bit of a smell to it. It's a little potent, nothing too crazy, but if you think that's something that might bother you, I would recommend looking like maybe a mile or two out from like that point. That's pretty much it. So just kind of a talking point, just want to make sure you're aware of. Point number 6 is going to be Netflix. Now, I know you're thinking, what does Netflix have to do with Tinton Falls? Well, actually, back in 2021, Netflix won a bid for $55 million to take over the old Fort Monmouth complex that was shut down in 2011. With that being said, they're building a massive studio over there. They're going to be creating about 3,500 jobs to create the place, and then afterwards, about another 1,400 studio jobs are going to be in place. So what does that mean for everyone, the consumers around here looking to buy or sell a home? In my opinion, we're probably going to see a greater than normal appreciation even for what the kind of market we're in currently. The reason being, we have about 1,000 listings right now throughout Monmouth County alone, and I'm talking from condos and townhomes, single families, adult communities, pretty much everything. You're not including actors in that, right? Maybe they buy a second home or whatever the case is, but we wouldn't have the amount of homes available to supply those people coming on top of what we already have here. So if I had to throw a guess out there, we're going to see a larger than normal appreciation in Monmouth County over the next couple of years, and would highly recommend getting it now if you're looking to purchase. Point number 7 is going to be different shopping and dining options in Tinton Falls. So the biggest one is going to be Jersey Shore Premium Outlets, like I mentioned a little earlier in the video. That's going to be located off of Route 66 and the Garden State Parkway. This is going to be like your best shopping in like this little stretch of area pretty much. The Jersey Shore outlets have about 120 stores at any given moment, ranging from Nike to Adidas, Michael Kors, J. Crew, Sunglass Hut, literally everything you can pretty much find. On top of that, across the street's going, or on the other side is going to be a Walmart. Across the street from there is going to be a Home Depot. You also have Restaurant Depot, so if you have a business, an LLC basically created, you can use that in order to gain access to Restaurant Depot, shop in bulk. So pretty much that strip of 66 right there is going to be your majority of your shopping. Also for dining options, you have the Brick House Tavern and Tap. They serve some delicious food and drinks. You can find anything from calamari to pizza, salads, and even a steak. On top of that too, you're going to have Wawa in the area, so Subway, Dunkin', a lot of those fast food or just fast and casual type of restaurants as well. Point number 8 is going to be different entertainment options throughout Tinton Falls. Like I mentioned a little earlier in the video, you have numerous beaches that you can go to from Long Branch all the way down to Manasquan, all within about 20 to 30 minutes of where you live. You can head over to the Racket Club over in Shrewsbury, and they have 12 indoor hard surface tennis courts. You can go over to Capelli Sports Complex. That's a relatively newer one. They have a bunch of soccer fields, so you have youth and adult leagues over there. If you want to go into do a brewery tour, you have Jug Handle Brewery. Pretty much a little, like I mentioned, a little bit of everything. If whether you're a foodie, you're into athletics, or just want to lay around on the beach all day, it really don't matter. You have your options over in Tinton Falls. Thanks so much for sticking around to the end of the video, guys. I really do appreciate it, and I hope you gained a little bit more insight and understanding of what it's like to live over in Tinton Falls, the good and the bad. If you're looking to move to the area, feel free to reach out to me. All my contact information is down below in the comments and the description. Whether you're 1 month, 3 months, 6 months, even a year out, it doesn't matter to me. Let's just get you on the right path towards your real estate goals. And if you're looking to move to a different part of the Central Jersey area, check out the 2 videos popping up and maybe they help you out a little bit too. Have a great day.